Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is, of course, your blockchain enthusiast, Lightliger, talking about one of the subjects very close to my heart, graphic design. And I've been a graphic designer for around 15 years. All the thumbnails, templates, overlays, video editing you see here, it's all done by me. And I've done all other various works, or even a couple of logos, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a logo designer, more so a graphic designer. And today we're going to be talking about a subject which is related to cryptocurrencies, and that is very bad logos. And there are a lot of projects which sadly have very badly designed logos. And it doesn't mean that just because the logo is bad or good, that the project is good or bad. So even if you love certain projects, you can still admit that the logo is not very great. And I will be explaining to you what is bad logo design and what is good logo design. And there's a lot of articles going on into this subject, and we're going to be touching the 4 key points which are kind of universal. Number 1 is you kind of want to be symmetrical and preferably round, especially when we're talking about tokens and coins. There is no star-shaped coins in history a lot of the times, and they've been coins historically, and that's what you want to really represent, that category of cryptocurrencies which are coins, then hence they're usually round. Second thing is most good logos want to work on black backgrounds and white backgrounds. If you have a logo that only looks good on certain color, that is not usually a good thing. Some logos obviously have black and white versions, obviously. Third point is it has to be zoomed out and still be clear to see. There are certain logos which are very detailed, and once you kind of zoom out, you are kind of lost in the details, or you're not able to read certain things. And the fourth and the most important thing is the logo tells us what type of an industry we're looking at, with something about the project or the product, basically. And here's a couple of things we're going to be looking for here first. So this like Styles by Me has scissors on it, so it has to be something to do with crafting. The dolphin, I would think about it as an aquarium. So what does dolphins do with plumbing? And this is like something, if the white would be, this would not be very visible on black. Then we have rustic reception. Is this some type of a motel in the cabin in the woods or what? The mountains and the trees kind of represent that. But here you can see a lot of text. I'm not able to read this, what they say here. I think it's event and rentals. And then there's these like awful fonts on a lot of these. And fonts are very important. A lot of things are just looking very outdated, like this one. And certain fonts don't look very clear when they are zoomed out. So as you can see, I'm not able to anymore read this green, the text on the green here. So it's really hard to read. And the industry, obviously, here we have Team Kren. And I guess they are selling houses or maybe renovating them. Can't really say. It doesn't exactly give me that clear idea, but I have some type of idea from the house that it's something to that relation. And here's also like a good example of a logo that is a very detailed, but when you zoom it out, it's like all that detail is kind of going away. The logo, this is something you want to have as t-shirt, something where it's big, but cryptocurrencies are usually used in a very small frame, so you have to think about that. Now, before we jump into these so-called bad logos in crypto, I want to explain a couple of really good ones. Obviously, we have Bitcoin. Never been a super big fan of the maxis or Bitcoin, but I always admitted Bitcoin logo design is absolutely spot on. I'm going to tell you why. The number one thing here are these 2 lines, and this means it's a currency. That's a very key thing here. Now, you see that every major currency, dollar, euro, sometimes dollar has 2 strokes. The Bitcoin here, obviously, we have the pound, ruble, the lira, the yen, the yuan, and all of these have these strike-throughs, and that means that it's a currency. And when people have, like, seen that stroke-throughs 1 or 2, they can easily associate that, oh, it has a strike-through, it must be a currency. Now, that is a very good signal, and it's something that Bitcoin signals really well. Litecoin obviously has that. Whitecoin comes into my mind that also has those strike-throughs. But another thing is obviously the color. So because it's this sort of a golden color, that's where the kind of the Bitcoin is the digital gold comes from. Orange is kind of, represent orange and yellow represent usually gold. And the dollar, I mean, a lot of the dollar bills are, for example, green. A lot of other paper money is green. Sometimes they are red, like I think in China they're red. So green is another one which kind of represents wealth. If Bitcoin was brown colored, do you think that it would have been performing as well? No, it wouldn't. So the colors are also very important. There's a lot of these subconscious things that happen when we see images, and I'm trying to break down those things in this video. So that's one of the key successes of Bitcoin's success, is that very strong branding. It's very simple to draw, it's symmetrical, it's meeting all of those things that I talked about, all those 4 points, works well on black and white backgrounds, and also very easy to take a tattoo of. Tattoos are also something you want to consider. If something is cool, you would consider taking a tattoo of it, but there are logos which you wouldn't take a tattoo of, which we're going to be closing here today. Another one is a Monero. Monero stands for, in Esperanza, as a coin. Money, the Monero, like spells all like money, and then you have the M, and it also like looks very well when it's zoomed out, very clear here even from this distance. So Monero is another one that have a great, like a perfect design. It's round, it's just very beautiful. It's really my probably my favorite crypto logo, perhaps. It's just very cool and simple design, and it's been also like adjusted here, the Monero Lab. So this is another one that, I would know about it, because this is like an experiment here, and it's a research, the bulb kind of represents research. So this is like, your key information through the logo to the person, and it has to be giving that in the image, not in a paragraph, okay? So that's why a lot of coins from the 2017 shit coins, that's why they look like they're like cold plated, and they look like currencies, shaped like currencies, and have those round shapes behind them, because they want to represent money. Civic is another one, because Civic is about identity, verifying keeping your verified identity private. And the privacy here, first of all, you have the C, and then we have the key lock here, which represents security. And that's what the project is trying to do. So here, just seeing that logo without the text, even with the text, I have an idea what this is about. It represents something to do with security. So the image relies as information without knowing what it's about. Compound, another one. Here we can see these stacks here. It's going up and up and up, and that's compounding, compounding your money. And it's using the green, that financial green color once again. So that has to do something with finance and money, and, seeing those bars going up. Obviously, this can be seen in many ways, but I think this also has a very, very good logo. Now, that's a couple of good examples. Now, let's get into bad stuff. First, we have one of the projects that I'm really liking, which is Cardano. But I always said the logo is really bad. And it comes into really one simple thing, and that is it's not very well zoomed out. So once you zoom it out, you can't see the small dots anymore. Like this is 25%, and we are 33%. And, the Monero was 33% size, was still, seeable, but now it looks like very blurry, very unclear. And like, what are the dots exactly supposed to represent? They actually represent nodes. The idea behind the logo is good, but when people watch the logo and don't know anything about Cardano, they have no idea what this is. Now, I would probably put, maybe if people really would love me to do, I might do a video where I would do like better versions of these bad logos. If you want to see that, leave a comment down below. Or maybe not do it. But I would do probably like rings around them or something to make them more visible. Maybe I would cut all of these small dots from here. This would be also really bad to take as a tattoo, because making it symmetrical with dots is pretty hard. I wouldn't say pretty hard, but it's kind of like, it's not something that will look very good. I wouldn't want to take a tattoo of this. Sorry. And I'm also not a very big fan of the ticker. I would maybe use RDA or ANO, or I wouldn't use CAR, but ARD. I don't know why they went with ADA. I'm not sure, but I'm just not. I like the name, but I don't like the ticker, and I'm not a big fan of the logo. I would just relegate the logo into using it as in some mine pools, for example, have the Bitcoin SV, for example, uses a dragon to represent the mining pool, but the coin itself uses the BSV. Which, by the way, I really like the dragon, but the dragon obviously is a Chinese dragon, and Satoshi Nakamoto is a Japanese name, so there was a contradiction there. So yes, this is a problem with Cardano. Another good example is IOTA. And IOTA does the Cardano logo better, so it kind of flows in these kind of weird ways, and it makes it look like a bit more rememberable. Logos have to be rememberable and something that, you kind of remember. McDonald's has a one. Twitter, Facebook, These are some things you remember. But the iota logo is also having the same problem. When you zoom it out, it becomes really unclear. But even here, and the smaller dots are still somewhat visible here. But it's a bit better than the Cardano's version, but the Cardano logo just doesn't scale with the dots as well. And I think this is just a lot more smarter, that there's some type of a flow, because I just kind of like this more as a logo, but I obviously like Cardano more as a project. Then we have probably the worst logo on this bunch. And I gotta say, the reason why Xstake is not on top 100 is because the logo is abysmal. Now, first of all, it's super vague. This is a computer-generated icon, and most people don't know that unless they're like literal nerds and coders. And even if you know that, it doesn't matter. It still doesn't tell us fucking anything. Like, what is going on in this? Are these eyebrows? Are these like spider teeth? Is this a spider? I don't know. And it's this weird box type of a thing. The boxes are okay. That can work with certain coins. It's a weird thing that the actual die coin is like, this one is a good logo. It just has this like weird orange thing. It's like a drop shadow thing. That's not very good because it doesn't actually show up scaled out. By the way, I've added XDAI on my list on the emojis that are supported on the channel, but this is the most horrible logo and it has to be changed immediately. And it has nothing to do with staking. Maybe it should have something to do with DAI. Maybe have a D on it, which is staked. Like, there's many ideas that I could basically represent here. The color is not very hot. It doesn't necessarily represent money exactly. Should be perhaps be more greener, in my opinion. This is just a very messy logo, and it's done by the people who made the pod chain. And pod chain, I think it has a bit of a better logo, but overall, like, this is not even perfect either. But I'm just saying that these are horrible logos, and it's really about the branding, how you sell them. Like, would you take this as a tattoo? Definitely not. Definitely, 100% not. You would not take this as a tattoo. Like, this looks horrible. So hopefully XDAI team sees this. You gotta change this logo. Maybe bring me invite in and we can brainstorm together. Moving on, we have Kusama. And this is so weird. This is so weird because the polka dot logo is really good. So you have like the polka dot, you have the P, which is very soft, and then you have the dot there, which is from the polka dot thing. And Kusama is named after the artist. And that's where she's known from, the polka dots, and that's where the polka dot name also comes from. But there's a couple of problems here. So first of all, like, when you look at her art, at least what comes in Google, it's very bright. She uses yellow a lot, and also red, apparently. But you most think this is probably her most known work. So yellow is her biggest thing, in my opinion, based on what I know. I'm not going to be making that as a factual statement, but it looks like that it's red and yellow that you see a lot, but definitely not a black. You don't see black here as dominant. In some of these you see here combined, but it's not the main color. So first of all, like, why is the raven black? And oh yeah, it's not, by the way, it's not a raven, it's a canary. That's where it says there's a canary network, but canaries are yellow. They are mostly yellow. Yes, there are some, hybrids which have some black, and there are black canaries as well. But, I mean, it's mostly yellow. Also, when you look at the body size, it's a bit more this sort of a fatter bird. It's not this sort of a, what's the word? It's not, they don't have like this long shaped body which stretches out like a raven does. And when you look at this, it's not fat. There's supposed to be like this belly here, but it's not. And also maybe it should have it should be yellow perhaps and have black dots inside it or something else like that. And it's not symmetrical. So as you can see, it's goes really wide here, but it's like the horizontal here and the vertical just doesn't match up. And that's why it looks really dog shit once it's zoomed out. It's clear, but it's dog shit still. This font type that they have is pretty great. I like this. But and here maybe looks kind of cooler too. But this is something that doesn't really show up. I mean, it doesn't look very good. Also zoomed out, very unclear. But I do like this one over the black one. But this doesn't work as a logo. This has to be more like a artistic rendition of something. So That's something you definitely just like. There's nothing to do. I mean, why is it called Canary Networks? Why there has to be a bird in it? Why it doesn't have like something to do with polka dots instead? Um, and then we have Ravencoin, coin that I don't like very much, and I don't like their logo. And I'm gonna explain to you why. So the logo has a lot of problems. First of all, it's kind of same as the Kusama's logo. It's very horizontal here. Hopefully I'm not making... I will sometimes mix up the horizontal and vertical. I think this is vertical here. It's a very vertical logo. So it's like very oddly shaped. It's not really ideal for a coin or cryptocurrencies because it's not actually really well shaped. Also, this suffers very much from the zooming out. As you see, there are these white cracks, but they are not visible once you actually zoom them out. So that's also poorly done. The small boxes here, what you want to do when you do this sort of design is that you want to make big boxes. So there are a lot of these small boxes here which don't really add up. And by the way, a lot of people don't seem to understand the basic things about animals. By the way, ravens are black. Far as I know, there are not any blue ravens. Okay, let me see if there's actually blue ravens. I think these are photoshopped. These are photoshopped. There are no blue ravens. Ravens are black, okay? Ravens are goddamn black. So these colors look like a parrot to me or some other... I don't remember... I don't know the English names for these birds, what I'm thinking right now, but these are cockatoos or something. But the colors don't really match up here at all with the ravens. So there's a contradiction here. There's a couple of other renditions. This one I like, but once again, really, really bad shape. And then there was another, which one? This is more black. This one was also a bit better. Actually, a lot better than the other one. But this also has the size problem. And here's a Red Fox Labs as a logo. So this is one that has kind of the same style where the boxes are sliced up. But here you can kind of see that the boxes are a lot more bigger. So when you zoom out, it's more indentible, even from this distance, you can see where the slices are. They use this kind of dumb gradient on the red, so it's not all the same red. So that's something that they should probably remove and just have like one single color red. And, once again, this one represents that it's a fox. It's really a fox-shaped... I mean, with this black, I would think it's wolf, or if it's blue, it's wolf. But because it's red, it's not identifying as a fox to me. But, you have like definitely wrong animal here in terms of the colors, and everything's really messy. And this one also looks pretty bad because the rings don't really match up. This is when the coin market shows up, and you can see this looks very ugly on these colors. And then when you zoom it out, you're not able to distinguish the lines here that they're drawn. So they need to really go back into working board and fix that shit. And here's a good example of a great Raven logo. You have the real Raven colors, obviously black, and works on white and black. Extremely identifiable after zoomed out. You can even actually take the eye out if you really want to master that. And I really like this thing that kind of, this sparrow, the wing goes here from out. So this very well, coin-shaped, put it into the box. You can also have the raven spread its wings so it looks a bit more rounded up. But I mean, this is probably the best one I've found from Google. And this is what the Raven coin logo should look like. But let's move on. Then we have this monstrosity, which is the Polygon logo. Let me see if I can zoom in like properly. So they have the old Matic logo here. And there's just some of the weird fucking moon thing going on with this new Polygon thing. Like, holy shit. This looks really fucking bad. I mean, oh my god, this looks really bad. And the weird thing about it is that it's like, this is probably what it's going to be eventually. Number one, like, okay, what the hell I'm looking at here? This looks very abstract. Okay, it looks like infinity to me, but no, nothing to do with infinity with this blockchain. Because this is the infinity cycle, like the snake eats the Ouroboros type of thing. And these are not polygons, goddammit. Like, these are polygons. They're usually these, shaped things. The Raven coin uses, for example, polygons. But, I mean, what the hell is it? Why do you call it polygons if the sign is not actually polygons? Like, this is horrible. The Matic's old logo was good, okay. Something that I remember. This one is so forgettable. And just kind of like... Another problem is that there's another website that is Polygon that is very known already. And... like, what's actually their logo? Let's go on Polygon logo. I think that they have this one. This is an actual polygon here. This, and they almost have the same font here. You don't want to take somebody, a very established like internet brand, and use their name. That's like another one. Really, really bad mistake there. And then we're going to be going into the last three. We have the OMG logo, previously known as Omisego. And this one is so boring looking. It's so boring. I mean, fills all the things, but it's so forgettable. Looks so boring. And OMG, like, what is this supposed to tell me about crypto? Think that for a second. This looks like something totally different, like an emoji or something. I don't know. But the Omisego, like, okay, the logo was actually unique and interesting in some level. And it kind of like filled out some of those rules we touched upon earlier, like here, it looks very clear, zoomed out and everything. And it was like something that, you know, would think, and this isn't telling me it's a crypto project or a tech project, but at least it's like, you know, meeting those other standards. But the new logo is just awful, very awful. I would never buy this just because of the logo. I'm never going to buy this logo. I'm never going to buy this coin. I mean, this token until they change that logo. Another very, 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 very boring logo is a hard protocol. And it's just literally a H. Actually, let's find the real logo. Hard protocol logo. It's like it's like a purple H, and it's a very boring font. I mean, I wouldn't think about hard here. I would think about hospital, HIV, homo. I don't know what I would think from a H like this. If it's hard, maybe make it out of metal. Make it out of stone. Something that looks hardwood, maybe. No insinuations with that. But yes, the H is just really boring. And here it looks very good on these coin backgrounds, but hey, it's like this is not their official logo though. So this is something that looks really boring, really forgettable. And Chainlink here also pops out. It's an okay logo, but it's also very forgettable. Their old one was not maybe meeting those old criterias which we talked about earlier. But this one was unique, interesting. It's not something that looks great zoomed out, but at least it was unique. Okay, you can still read it from here, Chainlink, and you didn't need to read these. Maybe it could have been just done something else here. The lock here doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because you could have had a chain instead. And then last we have Elastos, and this is also a really logo. Like, what is going on here with this logo? Are the arrows telling me that it's dumping constantly down, or is going down, or is there two layers? I mean, it's not a layer 2 solution. Like, what the hell is this? I mean, I thought first, like, maybe this is E letters. Maybe with this third one, you could like read it as E, Elastos. But no, I mean, this is also like a very vague logo, very boring too, by the way. And I have no idea what is it trying to tell me. Like, what the hell is this? But hey, this is already like 23 minutes long of a video. Hopefully you enjoyed this critique, and hopefully these projects will see them and make proper arguments maybe before I'm back. I don't think you will have any, but making a good logo sometimes is one of the key things about great branding. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, they all know this, and they're really powerful doing that, and they got very powerful logos. And a lot of these projects in crypto just don't have that. Bitcoin has really made its mark in there, in my opinion, and it's been very successful. But thanks for watching. I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.